Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is my February wrap-up. I'm going to talk to you about all of the things that I got up to during February, all of the finished objects and the works in progress. I don't think I've got any acquisitions, which is good, but we'll come on to that because there are kind of some acquisitions, but they're not for today's video. Cryptic. So more on that in a little bit. But yeah, I hope that you're all keeping well. I really like doing these wrap-up videos. I've got a little knitting journal that I keep my notes in. So I've made a list, love a list, as you know. You've seen those in some of my previous videos. Made a list of all of my works in progress, all the things that I want to talk to you about. So I really enjoy just sitting down and reflecting and looking back on the month that was. A few plans for the month that will be, the month that is. I guess it's the month that is now because it is March. But I like planning, but the plans are kind of, they're guidelines. And again, we'll come on to that in a bit. I've got a load of things that I want to do in March that I'm not sure I'm going to get them all done. I have my coffee. It's early in the morning. It is Monday, the 7th of March, and it's my non-work day today. So I work a 9-day fortnight. For those of you that are new here, hello, welcome. I work a 9-day fortnight, which means I get every other Monday off. And my every other Monday is usually, I'd like it to be mostly knitting and crochet, but it's mostly, well, it's not even mostly chores. There are some chores, you know, laundry, washing, cleaning, shopping. But I love to just craft, but I don't always get that luxury. Today I've got loads to do. It's only 7:45 in the morning. Luckily the days are getting longer, so it's light now, so I can record early. And then I'm gonna go out. I've got some errands to run this morning. I've got to go to the post office. I've got to go to IKEA. I've got to have my haircut. So I'm recording this one early in the morning to get it up on Monday afternoon is my plan. So if you are watching this on Monday, then I achieved my plan. We will see. But yeah, I hope that you are sitting comfortably. I hope that you've got a drink. Wherever you are in the world, you could have an alcoholic drink. Like, it's a bit early for me to have a gin and tonic. But I hope that you've got a hot beverage or a cold beverage or whatever of your choice. You're knitting or you're crochet or you're spinning or weaving or whatever it is that you're doing. And just sit and chat with me for an hour or so. Sometimes these can get to an hour, sometimes they're a bit shorter. I'm not sure how long today's is going to be, so we will see. But anyway, thank you very much, as always. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back and give me a bit more of your time. And if you are new here, hi, welcome, hello, I hope that you enjoy. If you do like what you've seen, give me a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it helps me to grow my channel. And there are now over 5,000 of us. It still blows my little mind. I say it all the time that this started as a way for me to hold myself accountable. It's the Knit365 blog. I want to do a little bit of knitting or crochet every day. And these blogs started as a way for me to talk about my progress and share what I'm up to. And the feedback and the comments and the tags on Twitter and Instagram and everyone is just fantastic. So I do really appreciate you all being here and for giving me a bit of your time. It's not, please, I don't underestimate the support that I've got from you all. It is really, really lovely. So as long as you keep supporting, I'll keep making videos. I think that's the only deal that we can commit to. But it's a deal I'm happy to commit to because I do quite like doing these. So anyway, right, enough of the introduction. Slurp of tea. Okay, so finished objects in the month. My first finished object, finished object, is part of my Toft 12 Birds of Christmas. So I am doing the 12 Birds of Christmas. It is a crochet book by Kerry Lord from Toft. And Kerry has designed 12 birds for Christmas. So some of them are logical, like we have Felix, the partridge in a pear tree, and Felix was my bird that I did in January, because I'm going to try and do one a month. Some of them, though, there's not a leap of faith, but there's a bit of research gone into them to understand what the day is in the song and then what the bird is going to be. So I have this month finished yes, I thought it was. I just wanted to check that I don't get the song wrong. So this month I have finished Lydia the Grey Goose, 6 Geese a-Laying. It's so clever. I love it. So this is Lydia, and she is a grey goose, and as I said, is the 6 Geese a-Laying. So she was a very quick one to make. It's an easy pattern. So Toft patterns come in 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. This was a number 1. Very simple colour change. That's not too tricky at all, and big pieces. The toes are a little tiny bit fiddly where you split to make the ends, but nothing really tricky. And there's an interesting story with Lydia, because I was very lucky 4 years, maybe 5 years ago. That's probably about right. 4 or 5 years ago, I went to Toft HQ. They're called Toft because that's the hamlet in England that the business runs from. Toft is a little village, hamlet. And I went to Toft and I did a crochet course. I did an afternoon's course to do complex colour changing, and I made Caitlin the giraffe. While I was there, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to buy some yarn, aren't I? I can't go all that way and not buy any. And I bought a kit to make a bird, and I'd never made a bird at that point. And it turns out the kit I bought was Lydia. And when I was going through my stash, I've bought a lot of wool recently, as you saw, at Unravel earlier in February and the end of last year, and I've had to kind of start to reevaluate the stash. There might be a video on that at some point. I've got some crates that they live in, and I've had to buy some more crates. Although Mark said, just because you bought more crates now doesn't mean you can buy more wool. That's exactly what it means. You've given me more space to fill. But in sorting through all the stash, I found the Lydia kit, and I was like, where have I seen her before? And then I remembered that she was in the 12 Birds of Christmas. I was going to say the 12 Books of Christmas. 12 Birds of Christmas. So I've made Lydia, and not only is it a finished object, and I'm on track because this is bird 2 of my 12 birds in February, it's also using stash wool. Polish the halo. Brilliant. So I'm super happy. I've done Lydia. She's a very simple project. I won't dwell on her much longer. I am non-compliant though. So there are probably some of you now that are screaming inside that I did Felix, a partridge in a pear tree, bird number 1, and I've now jumped to day 6 and I've done Lydia the goose rather than doing bird number 2. I'm okay with that. I don't pop pills out in a logical order. I don't take stamps out of the book. I just grab something. It drives Mark insane that he'll pick up a pack of paracetamol and there's like one gone from there and one gone from there. It drives him mad. It doesn't bother me. So I'm happy that I'm crocheting them out of order. This month, Mark has chosen, and so this will be a whip. Oh, it should be a finished object in March. But this month, I am now going to be doing Agnes the Heron. 12, 10. So she's going to be number 10. So 10 lords are leaping, and I think Kerry says something on the website like that they're very majestic and very regal. So kind of like a lord leaping, and I think it's the leap when they take off. I think that's the story between why the heron is number 10. So I'm going to do Agnes the Heron as my bird this month. So there we go. So that's my one finished object. There's another finished object that I've got for February though. What's that? What is it? Ah, I know. It's my jumper. Did you see what I did then? Now we can do a happy dance And I think we can definitely polish the halo on this one because this jumper is over a year old. So this is my Beauceron sweater. Let me stand up and show you. So we have this lovely mosaic, which is a 4-row repeat of some plain rows and then some slip stitches. I'm obviously not going to give away the pattern. It's a paid pattern. Go and buy it. I'll pop the details below. But mosaic pattern. You can see the collar is slightly higher on the back than it is on the front. So we have some lovely short row shaping on the neck. And then what I really like about this as a yoked pattern is the pattern carries on down to the top of the sleeves. Whereas in some yoke patterns, I have to squat to get into the camera. In some yoke patterns, it kind of is just here. Then you split for the sleeves and the sleeves are plain. This one is different. So the pattern construction is that you do the body, then you split for the sleeves and you put that onto waste yarn. But then when you come back to the sleeves, you do this panel to continue the mosaic and then you do the plain knitting. So I do like that it comes down a little bit further. Other design features, we have this lovely slip stitch pattern on both arms that goes down, there's my elbow, goes down the center of my arm, which I think is super cool. So you get that by just slipping a stitch. And then you also have the same detail here, going down both sides. So, let me sit back down. So there we go. That is my Beauceron sweater. The pattern is, the designer is by Dells. It's Vincent Deslandes, who designs under the Garçons brand with his partner Max. And I started this pattern, I'm out of breath now. God, it's early in the morning, isn't it? I started this pattern a year ago. And if you're interested in a bit more about the slip stitch design and the construction, there is a podette, a mini podcast back probably this time last year, if you flick back to all the videos, where I did all the yoke and I kind of blogged over a couple of weeks. I was trying to remember this morning. I think it took me 3 weeks of knitting in the evenings after work, etc., to do the yoke and the sleeves. And what I did was, because I was in the groove of doing the pattern, what I didn't want is, because I knew what would happen, I would get bored, put the jumper down and I'd start something else. So rather than doing all of the body and then coming to do the plain stocking stitch, I put that onto scrap yarn, the whole after the yoke. And then I picked the sleeves up and I knit these two bits of the sleeve while I was in the memory of the mosaic pattern, because I thought, if I put it down and then a year later I come back, I'm like, how did I do that mosaic again? Obviously I can follow the pattern, but you get into a bit of a rhythm and you develop a bit of muscle memory for a complex pattern. So I did that. That was probably my downfall though, because I did all the complicated knitting and I did all the sleeves, and then I started a bit on the body, but then my tension was out because I don't swatch. So my tension was out, so I needed to undo about 1 inch of the body to go back to the end of the mosaic to then use a different size needle. And I just lost interest in it. There we go. But I'm glad that I did the end of the sleeves because, I did a Martin, I put it down, and I'm sure lots of you will do the same thing with some projects. And we just get bored, don't we? We love casting things on and we don't really like finishing things. But I finished it. For those of you that have watched my unravel video, then you will have seen me wear it to unravel. And I was stress knitting to get it finished before the show. And it's so lovely and warm. The wool is by West Yorkshire Spinners. It is their Croft double knit. I can't remember the colourways off the top of my head. So, oh, hang on. I have my iPad. Talk amongst yourselves while I quickly find out what it is. West Yorkshire Spinners Croft DK. The wool was a gift. I had gift vouchers for Christmas last year, so 2020. And it was the perfect gift for me. So I had gift vouchers off my mum and my younger brother and sister-in-law. And I went and bought wool and then made myself a jumper. And they were like, you're going to buy wool to make your own clothes. Is that not like hard work? I'm like, no, that's brilliant. You buy me wool, I turn them into items. So this will forever be my Christmas jumper from my mum and my brother. So we have, excuse me, I nearly coughed. It's very early in the morning. Why am I'm very gravelly. So the light grey here is Colsay colourway, C-O-L-S-A-Y, Colsay. And the petrol colour is Norby. So West Yorkshire Spinners double knit croft. They also do an Aran weight, which I've got for another project somewhere. Did I finish that project? I think I finished that project. I think I did that. I made a simple raglan jumper, but super lovely. It is so squishy. And this is obviously it's double thickness because you've got the mosaic. Oh, actually, let me turn it inside so you can see the inside of the slip stitches. So double layer fabric. And yeah, it's lovely, but it's 100% wool. So it's really squishy, but it's not itchy and it's not sweaty. You know, it's a natural fibre. I wore it all day at Unravel and loved it. So there we go. 2 finished objects for February, which is brilliant. I didn't cover at the beginning, which I usually do, the number of whips I have. So for February, we ended with 14 works in progress. So I started with 13, I finished 2, and then I started a new one, which I'll come on to in a minute. So I had 14 whips at the end of February, which is okay. Hey, at one point we were up to 20, so, you know, anything from there's a bonus. Okay, so on to whips then. So the things that I've been working on in the month. So we'll touch on these briefly. You'll have seen these before. I'm making socks for Mark. And this is the Rockabunny colourway from Attic Spin Dye. The lovely Angela and Andy are the brains behind the brand. And I'm just obsessed still with this colour. Look how vibrant it is. So I'm doing, I've got a skein of their black yarn. And I'm going to do contrast cuff and toe. And then I'm going to put in an afterthought heel because that fit really worked. These are going to be socks for Mark. This is 64 stitches on a 2.25 mil. That is Mark's recipe. So I've nearly finished. I put this marker in because I had about 4 inches to go when I measured it. So I've got probably, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe to go on that. And then it's time to do the toe. So I don't know where this was. I think I showed this off last month and I didn't put a stitch marker in to show my progress. I think I was probably about here. But throughout the month, various taking Mark on an errand and knitting in the car or knitting on the train somewhere. So I've probably done about half a sock. So I'm going to continue to keep checking in on those. And I really do enjoy that colourway. There's another colourway in the same Rockabunny, which is going to be spectacular as well. So the plan is that Mark will have, obviously, two pairs of socks, 4 individual socks. This is the one colourway, the super neon, and then we've got this sort of more muted and a black version. And I guess he could wear them as a pair, or he could mix and match. We'll see. But they're both going to be the same, so with contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. So I'm seeing Attic Spin Dye. Not personally, they are showing at the West Yorkshire Spinners. They're not showing at the West Yorkshire Spinners. They're showing at the Welsh Wonderwool show in April. And it would be lovely to be able to finish the socks. I love a show and tell. If you get to meet the designer or the dyer at a show and you've got something that you've made of theirs, I love the idea of taking things along to show people what you've made with their creations. So hopefully I can get these done by April, and then I can show them off at the show. But there we go. I've done a bit of work on those. And then sticking on the sock theme, I have another, this is my new cast on. So if you watched my Unravel video, I had a brilliant time at Unravel. Oh, see, I said I don't have any acquisitions to share, but I don't have my Unravel acquisitions with me, and they would have been acquisitions in February, wouldn't they? Okay, if you haven't watched the Unravel video, pop back, even if you just flick to the end, and watch what I bought. Because I bought some cowl wool for a cowl. I bought some sock wool, which I'll show you now. I bought some jumper wool to make a sweater for me. I don't have them here. I don't really know where they are. They're being sorted. Anyway, there will be some acquisitions. We'll touch on that in a bit. We'll come back to that. So the new project that I started, so I bought from Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. You know I'm a big fan of Gemma. My existing socks are living in one of Gemma's small bags. This is the London edition. Gemma started dyeing wool. I'd never tried Gemma's wool before, so of course at the Unravel show, I had to pick up a skein of yarn and start another project. So Gem actually had a custom design for the Unravel show. And this is the skein. And if you are aware of Unravel, the branding on all the Unravel merchandise, etc., are these colours. It's the yellow, the sort of orangey salmon, the teal, and then there's a sort of a very light grey. So Gem dyed up some skeins, and is the Unravel Spring 2022 colourway. It's a self-stripe, high twist, 75% merino, 25% nylon. And I thought, well, I'm making socks for Mark. I want to try and have a go at making socks for me. So I started this, and actually this was one of my Hamburg projects. So I took this with me to Hamburg, and there we go. I've started socks for me. So Gem's also doing mini skeins. So I've got a mini skein of some black. It's probably like a really dark grey rather than pure black, but I've got a mini skein as well that came with a kit. So again, I'm going to do contrast cuffs, heels and toes, and I'm going to try an afterthought heel for myself and see what the fit is like. I've got a couple of pairs of socks with a traditional heel, heel flap and gusset, but I'm going to try and do a afterthought heel. I have got slightly wider feet, and I've been doing some research online, and apparently when I cut for the heel, if I want to add extra length to it, which then raises the sock up slightly, you do a few rounds without doing the decreases, so you can make the heel slightly bigger. So I'm going to have a little play, but that's the sock. You can see the lovely colours and the way that they're working up together. I stole a few pattern ideas from some of you from last month's video, because I showed off a skein of sock yarn that I bought that was in the blue, pink and white, the trans colourway that I bought in January. And I was asking for patterns that would show off the striping, but without being too busy. And a lot of you suggested a simple slip stitch pattern. So this little bump pattern that you see here, it's not a paid for pattern. It's just a technique that lots of you commented on. So I think loads of you must have used this. And with self-striping yarn, all it just means is when the new colour comes in, you do a slip one, knit one for that round, and then you just knit every colour. And that gives you that lovely little step change. So I think that's really effective, and I'm really pleased with how these are working up. This is going to be a more long-term project. This was not on my crafting plans for February, but I wanted something easy to take away with me. I said we went to Hamburg. So again, if you've not watched the Hamburg video, I was busy in February, wasn't I? If you haven't seen my Hamburg video, pop back and check that out. We went and did some yarn shopping in Hamburg, which was lovely. But I wanted a simple project to take. Why would I take Mark's socks and work on Mark's socks? I can start a new project and do something for me. That was my methodology. Mark actually did say, are you not going to finish my socks? No, I'm going to start a new project. So I've got these on the needles. So I've now got a pair of socks for Mark and a pair of socks for me. This colourway, if you're interested, I believe is available on Gem's website. If you wanted to get your hands on one of the Unravel skeins. Gem did a shop update last week, I think it was, or the week before, with loads of the show exclusives that she'd made available online. So if you are interested in this colourway, pop over. This isn't a sponsored ad. You just know I love Gemma and her products. So I'm really happy with these, and I'm going to give this a whirl. Also, thank you to those of you that commented on the last video when I talked about doing socks for myself. And again, I know I'm really behind with liking and replying to comments. As the channel grows, so do the comments, and it is amazing. And please know that I read every single one of them, even if I don't get a chance to reply to everyone. But lots of you had commented about I'd asked for advice on making socks for myself where I've got quite wide feet. And lots of you said about doing Mark's sock recipe because it will fit. But a few of you gave me some tips about trying on Mark's socks and seeing what the fit would be like. And also going up slightly in terms of the number of stitches. So as I said, this is my sock recipe that I'm trying out is 2.25mm needles again, same as Mark's. But whereas he has 64 stitches, I've cast on 70 for me. I think that's right. Or did I do 68? Bear with. 68. Because it messes, because I've got 17 stitches per needle. That's how I remember, rather than an even number of being 16 or 18. But I'm doing 68 for mine. So I tried on Mark's socks and they were okay, ever so slightly tight, a little bit too much negative ease. So I added on a couple of stitches, and I'm super happy with these so far. So that was my new cast on. And again, these are definitely a long-term project. This probably won't see the light of day in March now because I've got a lot of things that I want to do in March. And I obviously need to make progress with Mark's socks if I'm going to show them off in April. Well, I've got until the end of April, but you know. So that was one of the other works in progress. Obviously, living in a little grey girl bag from Gemma. This is the medium, or maybe the large, but again, the London edition. Because I love London and would live there like a shot. And then the other main thing that I worked on during the month is baby stuff. I'm hoping some of you are sitting there going, but Martin, where are you with the baby blankets? Because I just need to get them finished now. And I'm hoping lots of you are going to hold me to account and make sure that I get them done. But I've just got a couple here. I've made some more baby blanket squares. So the pattern I'm doing is the 2014 Rowan Mystery Knit Along by Martin Story. And I'm using 2 of the lace patterns, and I'm making 2 blankets for the new babies in our family. So nephew 1 is obviously having this lovely blue colour, and niece 3 is having pinks. I've shown them off in previous videos, so I won't go into too much detail other than to let you know I am still plugging away at these. I've now finished all of the block colours in the pink and blue. And I think for the blankets, I've got 4 squares left to go on each one, and then the letter square for their name. So in theory, I can do one a day, and it's not in theory, I can do one a day. It takes me about an hour and 15 to make one square. So with a bit of effort, in 8 days, I can have all of the squares finished, and then I've just got to do the letter squares, which again should probably just take me a day because there's no lace pattern on that one. The only difficulty with that is I need to write a pattern for the initial. So I just need, I'll do it on the computer. I'll draw a grid and just lay out where the letter will sit. So I think in the next 2 weeks, if I do one square a day, I think I can get most of the knitting done on the baby blanket. So I've been checking in with those. So I've done 6. I've only got 3 here. I promise you I have done. I've done 6 of these this month. And the other thing that I've done then, which is really exciting, and this was one of my Hamburg projects also because it was the perfect thing to do on the plane. I started the border for nephew one's blanket. So if I show you, look at all this cabling I've been doing. So if I show you this, so this, again, it comes with the pattern. This is part of the finishing up. So if I hold that up, you can see the lovely twist. So there will be a very simple twisted cable border. I've done some cabling. I'm absolutely not proficient in really complex cables. I obviously won't give the pattern away, but you do some simple rows and then you do the cable section. It's a very easy pattern to now memorize, and I think it's really effective that it just gives this little twist. The inner edge has just a very simple, you can't see it, the camera won't pick it up, but it has a very simple edging, which makes it easier when it comes to sewing up. But I'm really pleased that I took this with me because I wanted to do some knitting on the plane and knitting in the airport. But of course, you don't want like proper knitting needles and, you know, arms everywhere. And I sit next to Mark and he'll be like, what are you doing? And then I don't know who I'm going to sit next to on the other side. So didn't want anything that I would need lots of movement. So I'm doing this on a very simple, I think it's a 16-inch circular, but it's just back and forth knitting. So I'm not knitting in the round. I'm using a circular needle just because it was easy just to sit there. And cable. And yeah, so I put this stitch marker in. So this needs to be, that's the halfway point, I think. I've done a very rough measurement. So you can see I've got to there. So I have got a bit to go, but not a huge amount. Like, it's really super quick, and each one of the repeats grows by about this much. So again, that's probably about an hour's knitting, and then the border is finished on Noah's blanket, which will be amazing because then, as I said, I've got 4 squares left to do. I need to do the N, and N's going to be complicated. Like, niece 3 is called Thea. A T is really easy to do. An N, not so much. I've just dropped my needles on the floor. It's fine. So I'm really excited that I've managed to make progress on that. So we're on track. So I say we're on track. We were on track to finish these blankets in December. Then it was going to be January. It's all going to be fine. Then it was like, oh, I'm going to really try and make progress in February. Now I think it will be March. We're going away as a family at the end of March. I'm super excited, but equally it's going to be so loud. There are 8 adults and 2 kids, 7 and 4, and 2 babies, 3 months. So it's going to be crazy. We're going away in the UK, and I'm hoping, I have said to Mark, wouldn't it be amazing if I can get the baby blankets done before we go away? And I can give them to the niece and the nephew while I'm away. So that's my plan. Hence why I said, actually, 8 days, and I can get the baby blanket squares done. So what is it? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 15th of March, I can have the squares done. 16th, 17th, 18th of March, maybe, to have done the letter squares. Oh, that's going to be tight because I haven't even started Thea's border yet. I'm going to try. I'm working production-wise, so I'm trying to do all of the squares, then all the borders, then I'll do all the blocking, and I'll do all the sewing in one go, rather than doing Noah's blanket and Thea's blanket. I want to try and do them, make progress on all of them on both of them at the same time, because then I can gift them at the same time. Otherwise, I feel like I'm choosing a favourite, because if I do all of Noah's, then I'll be like, oh, I've got to start Thea's. And I don't want Thea to feel, she's 3 months, but I don't want Thea to feel like she's not as important as Noah. So I need to work through that. So you might see finished objects in March. Come on, we can do it. Maybe I need to do 2 squares a day. Oh, or like the weekend. I've got nothing on this weekend. Maybe I could have like a Saturday and Sunday blanket day. That could work, couldn't it? Because I could get all the squares. Anyway, I'm babbling. I was going to say, you don't need to know about my knitting plans, but actually that's the exact reason you're here, isn't it? To hear about my knitting plans. So we'll see. So that was the other thing that I'd worked on during February. And yeah, I don't think I worked on anything else. I'm looking down at my notes. No. So that was all of my works in progress for February. The one thing I did say that I was going to do in February that I didn't even start was my Toft Imaginists entry. There's a mystery quarterly competition that Toft run, and I'm going to start taking part in it this year because I want to be more creative. Like this jumper, I followed it to the letter, to the pattern. I'm very compliant. If the pattern says do A, B, and C, I just do A, B, and C. I don't think I'm super creative in terms of like, this is Lydia, this is the pattern, but someone might have taken the pattern and then done a different tail or changed the wings slightly. I don't think in that way. I'm very compliant. I'm the same with cooking. If I'm going to try a new recipe, I will follow the cookbook. That's how they've set it out. That's what I'll do. So the Toft Imaginist book is going to try and push me because I've got some colours and that's all I've got, and I've got to make something with it. I'm not going to go into that in any more detail because I'm going to blog about the Imaginists and show you my drawings and my thought process between how I come up with my creation through to crocheting it. So there's going to be another video that will come up in March. The competition for the quarter closes on the 31st of March, so I have to do that in March. I did say I was going to do that last month. But I'm definitely going to do that in March. So March's plans are going to be baby blankets, because I feel like I need to get those done. They're off the list. I'm no longer distracted by them. The Imaginists competition, I need to do March's bird, the heron. So there's those 3. Check in every now and then on Mark's socks, which takes it to 4. And then 5 as a stretch goal, I don't know whether I'm going to get this done, is my bubble cardigan, which is probably going to be April, but it's a bubble sweater by Stephen West, but I've added a panel down the front and I'm going to stick it and turn it into a cardigan. There is a blog being filmed on that one. There was the very first blog that I ever did. It's really messy. It'll be hilarious when you watch it. But I want to wear that to Wonderwool in April, which is the end of April. So I've done all the knitting. I literally just need to stick it, just cut it, and then do the button band. So that's a stretch goal for March. In reality, that's probably going to be April. But we'll see. That would be 5. Oh, and then I've forgotten number 6. They are the Toft dolls. And again, don't worry about details on this one. There's going to be another video coming next week on this one. The Toft Women Through History series. And they've released this quarter's doll is Marie Curie, but they've also released 2 special edition dolls, Queen Nefertiti and Queen Elizabeth II. So I want to start making a doll in March. And also the doll's going to be my going to Centre Parks project, because I want to do something while I'm away in Centre Parks with the family. I want to just take something and then see how much progress I can make on it throughout the week as I'm walking around coffee shops and chilling out with the fam. So I'm going to take one of the dolls. So there's going to be that as well. Oh God, that's actually... See, right, you lot, this is it. So I'm saying, oh, I'm only going to work on these 3. Oh, actually, it's 4 with the socks. Oh, right now, actually, it's 5. So it's probably 5 with the doll, 6 with the cardigan as a stretch goal. The cardigan's probably going to be April now, isn't it? You know it is. But we'll see. And hey, what is our mantra on this channel? No stress. We'll get it all done. And if we don't, what's going to happen? Nothing. These dolls are really quick, these birds. It literally takes me 1 day to make all of the crochet and then an hour to do the sewing up. So I know this one will get done. But if it doesn't, I'm not allowing myself to get behind already because I did that with the baubles last year, didn't I? And I was end up stress knitting. But if I don't make them, it is what it is. Stress-free, that's what we like. We don't want any drama here. It's meant to be fun. It's our hobby. It's our crafting. So if I don't get them all done, I don't get them all done. I would really like to do the baby blankets though. Because there's some of you now that you comment consistently on all the videos and I'm with you, right? And Mark says the same thing. Where is my Argyle sweater? If you are new here and you haven't seen Mark's Argyle sweater, it is a really complicated diamond pattern that I'm doing with 4 colours in the intarsia technique. If you do go back and watch some of the videos, it will be in one of them. I haven't worked on it it's coming up to a year now. And Mark keeps saying, where are we with my jumper? January. I did say January. And he said, in January, you're going to finish my jumper? I was like, oh, I haven't finished the baby blankets. February. Oh, I haven't finished the baby blanket. So I need to get the baby blankets done and then I can start and finish, hopefully, Mark's Argyle sweater. I've then done my Beauceron. I can then do my bubble thing, steeking. So I tick some big projects off my list. That's my plan. I want to get the baby blankets done in March and then April onwards, we can then have a bit of a relax and we can go back to bigger, jumpery, squishy goodness. Yeah, so I think that is all the woolly content that I have to chat to you about today. I said at the beginning there was no acquisitions, and then obviously I had a brainwave in the middle of the talking to you that there were acquisitions. So yes, do pop back and look at the Unravel video if you haven't seen that yet, and then you can see the acquisitions. So again, I usually end by talking about what wool have I topped up my stash with. But apart from what I bought at Unravel, I haven't bought any other wool. There will be a big acquisition section in March because of the Toft Women in History series. I've gone a bit crazy. I've bought all the dolls. I know. I'm rolling my eyes with you. Look, you're going, what? Why? When are you going to make all those? I know. But that's why there's a separate video coming that will talk about all of that. It's going to be like a bit of a Toft confessional. But I went to the Stitches show. So it's the 7th of March today. So, you know, I'm not pretending I'm doing this in February. It is the 7th of March. The weekend I went to the Stitches show. I met Kerry before, but I met Kerry at the stand, had a lovely little chat, bought lots of wool. So that will feature in the March video, but I'm going to do a separate Toft Women in History video. So you can have that one. That will probably be up next week. I won't put 2 videos up in the week. I'll put one up next week then about that one. And then towards the end of the month will be my Imaginists video, hopefully. I don't think there will be a 4th video. I think 3 in the month will be good going. But who knows? I like to be unpredictable. We will see. But I hope that you are enjoying the content. You know, certainly I love seeing all of the comments and you all clicking the thumbs up and giving me the likes, and it's really lovely, and it makes it worthwhile for me to find the time to sit down and share my love with you all for this crafting craziness with our knitting and our crochet. So please don't underestimate how much value and support that I take from you all, and you're the reason I keep doing this and trying to think of all the different ways that I can talk and content that we've got coming up. So I really do appreciate you being here. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I'm going to have a slurp of my coffee because it's probably gone cold. That's everything that I had ticked off my list. I'm going to edit this together and get it up online, hopefully now, as I said, Monday evening. I've got a busy day planned. I'll find some knitting and crochet time because Mark's not here now till Thursday night. He's gone away with work. So I've got some peace and quiet and some sanctuary to do some crafting, which is brilliant. I've shared with you my plans for March, so I hope that you are all keeping well, and I will see you at various points throughout this month. As always, please let me know in the comments below what you're up to, what are you working on, any thoughts on this episode, hints and tips for anything that I've been working on. Continue to try and give me hints and tips for how I can finish things, because you know me, I just get distracted really easily. So anything that works for you, please let me know. Please keep tagging me in Instagram posts and on Twitter. I really do love seeing what you're making, because I'm just talking into my iPhone, and it's lovely to see the other side then when you tag me and things, so I can see what you're making. So please continue to do that. Feel free to tag me so that I can see. So we are under the hour, which is great. I said that I wasn't sure how long this was going to be. It's going to be just over 45 minutes, I believe. So I'm going to leave this video there. And as I said, once again, just thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. So until we speak again, I hope that you are all going to keep well. And yeah. Oh, I said my ending wrong. It's usually, you can probably all recite it now. So I should have said, I hope that you're all keeping well. Until we speak again, happy crafting.